This is part 2 of my video series of why I love historical romance and talking specifically about my book that's coming out with Haven in June of 2026 called A Love Once Lost. If you pre-order it directly from Baker, and I'm going to put that link in the description. It's 40% off and free shipping if you pre-order it through Baker. I don't know when that is going to end, but it's a really good deal. And now stay tuned for part 2 of why I love historical romance, and more specifically, my book, A Love Once Lost. The series is called The Bridwell's Grand Tour. In those days, if you're not familiar with the Grand Tour, in the, let's say, the 18th century, let's start there, although I don't know how much farther back it went, the educated men went to the continent for a year or two and got their education. They learned, history, arts, engineering, science, languages. They just discovered everything on tour, and that was kind of their polishing education. Finish Oxford or Cambridge, and then they would go on tour. And obviously this was interrupted when the war between Napoleon and England happened. There were no more grand tours. And then it did pick up again, and it continued throughout the 19th century, although it became less of a status thing and less of a young gentleman going away, to finish their education thing, and more of a everybody going because they want to have a nice tour. So my series is called The Bridwell's Grand Tour. And the interesting thing about it is that Mr. Bridwell is kind of a learned scholar, a little bit, or quite, let's say, eccentric. He has no sons. And obviously he did his grand tour earlier, but now he's getting to the age where he's like, oh, okay, I can't send my sons to the grand tour because I have 3 daughters. So I'm going to take them. We're going to do our grand tour, and they're going to become these like enlightened. It's going to be amazing, And we have Amy Bridwell. She is the eldest. She is really not keen on going. Now, 2 things to know about this. One is that her mom died when she was pretty young and kind of gave her the charge of looking after her sisters and her father. Her father is not practical at all. So Amy has this kind of heavy mantle of responsibility on her, and it's hard enough in England, and she doesn't not want to do it on foreign territory. The other thing is that she did have a love, James Fletcher, and they ended because they had a disagreement. He was going to go on tour, big mess. She wanted her to go with him, but it was not under good circumstances, and she didn't think it was wise. And they fought and they split, and that was 6 years ago. And so it kind of left a bad taste in her mouth. She wanted nothing to do with Europe. She just wanted to stay in England, be cozy, like be in her house, just do what, she was used to doing. And life was hard enough. But because she was a single, unmarried woman, she had to follow her dad there and her sisters there. And that was really not something that she wanted to do. People who went on tour, at least in this instance, they ended on the coast of Belgium. Now, Belgium is a country, I think it became a country in 1830. Before then, there was no country called Belgium, although the people were called Belgians, but there was no country of Belgium. At the time, it was the Austrian Netherlands. So the Austrian Netherlands were the kind of the southern part, which is modern day Belgium. And then there were the regular Netherlands. So the family landed on the beach at Ostend. There was a port, a very active port, but it was destroyed in the siege of Ostend in the 1600s, and it was not rebuilt until the mid 1800s. I had them landing on the beach and having to find the town. Perhaps they would have been able to easily see the town from where they landed. Perhaps there was some form of a port or whatever, but this was my artistic license. And she finds herself in Ostend having to go search for horses for their carriage. Not a good start, not what she wants to do. Ostend itself is beautiful. My husband and I went there for our 25th anniversary last month, and just to be able to stand there and look and think, like, okay, this is where they would have landed wow, like look at those waves. This is would have been the start to their adventure. And how hard it was for Amy to have to do that. From there, they got in their carriage and they traveled to Bruges. And so we also went to Bruges. This is such a charming town in Belgium. It's still very old. There's a lot of quaint walks along the canals. A lot of the buildings are still from the Georgian era. So you can see, and that's another thing I want to say. A lot of times we think history is so far, like we can't relate to it. It seems so long ago. But in this, we can see that, it's still just like how it looks today, like these beautiful houses. They had beautiful like rugs and decorations and chairs and all of these things. They ate good food, and they loved and they lived like we did. They read, they had enjoyment, they had relationships, and it's not that long ago. And I think that that's another reason that I like writing historical romance, because it brings the past to something that we can identify with today. From there, they went to Ghent, and they were able to admire the cathedrals, the houses, the canals, like just everything there. Everything was respectably sized. Like she was able to be impressed with it and think, okay, this is not England, but it's not bad. And from there, they went to Brussels and spent like almost a week there. And then that was when, she was starting to be, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And then they get in the carriage and they journey to Spa. Now, I'll tell you a bit about Spa in my next video. But in Spa, it's actually not in the Austrian Netherlands. It's kind of surrounded by it, but it was part of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, it was in the bishopric of Liège, and so it was this kind of like little place, and it was a watering town. And they wanted to go because Mr. Bridwell was kind of suffering from rheumatism. And they go there, and she arrives, and who does she see on her very first day but her old flame, James Fletcher. So that is A Love Once Lost, and it is coming out in June of next year. You can pre-order it, June 23rd. I hope you're as excited about this book as I was to write it, as I am about the series. It's just so fun to follow the sisters as they go first from Spa, then to Paris, and then eventually to Rome. That's where their grand tour of the continent is going to lead them. But if you love historical romance, first of all, tell me why in the comments. I would love to hear it. Like, what has led you to this interest in historical romance? And stay tuned, because I'm going to be talking a lot more about this book, A Love Once Lost. And I hope that you will have a chance to read it, to pre-order it, that you will enjoy it. Because for me, in writing it, I feel like I am able to achieve what I love the most, and that is to bring a bygone era back to life. So that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments. Don't forget to listen to my audiobooks if you haven't already. And until next time.